surely you would delegate to somebody who's acting, and you would be told that the agreements are ready for signature. I can't believe that when you're on leave, people can do as they please, and you come back and you say, well, because I was on leave, I wash my hands of what happened. You don't stop being chief of police because you're on leave.
Commissioner Khumalo, I'm not saying, I'm said that I did not sign this, and at that time, when I came back, I was briefed by Deputy Commissioner.
No, but the question is, did you see them before they were signed? I understand that they were signed, because this is what happens with written agreements. They go back and forth because you get a document, it is typed, and people look at it to check that it complies with legal requirements, and the terms of the agreement are in accordance with the tender documents, and they generally reflect the services that are to be provided and fees that are to be paid. So the terms of the agreement. And that doesn't happen in a space of a month. There would be a back and forth with drafts being exchanged. The question that was put to you, was this presented to you? It may well be that on the date of signature by Spies, you were on leave and therefore you could not have signed. But it does not explain what happened before that. Were you aware that there were these draft agreements circulating, what they related to, and that at some point somebody from TMPD has to sign them?
Commissioner Khumalo, I have not seen the service level agreement before it was signed. No draft was sent to me. Nothing was sent to me to come back, to go through. I did not receive it. The only time is when I came back from my leave.
I mean, that is a red flag. It's worrying that these things could be happening and your department is responsible, and but for the leave, you would have had to sign it. And because you were on leave in January 2026, somebody who was acting in your stead signed them, and you only saw them after they were signed. I mean, that is a serious red flag for me.
Commissioner, you must know the service level agreement is drawn up by between the legal department and Office of the Group Financial Services, which is the CFO. So they actually draw up the service level agreement. That's why the legal department is also obviously with them to make sure, as you say, that it is legally compliant. However, I did not see this, and it's not that I'm abdicating my responsibility. I did not receive the service level agreement before I went on leave. That is a fact, and that is the truth.
But at least you would have been aware that this company was going to be appointed, but service level agreements were still being prepared at the Office of Legal and CFO. That part you would have been aware of. Or are you saying you only became aware that El Shaddai has been appointed and there's a service level agreement after it was signed?
Yes, Commissioner Khumalo.
Before that, you were not aware that there's a plan to appoint El Shaddai?
No, I was not aware of that. And I think, as I said yesterday, when the CFO is coming to this forum, I think those questions should be posed to him. I would prefer if that is the case. Because I'm here to tell my side and I'm here to tell the truth. I have not received the service level agreement beforehand to go through or to peruse. I have not received a list to say these are the successful service providers. This service level agreement came to the acting Commissioner of Police, and it was signed on the date that is there on the page, 14th or 15th of January, and then when I came back, it just did his handover. That is the truth, and that is the fact.
Commissioner, perhaps an anterior question to this discussion with Commissioner Khumalo is, how does it work? You have signed other agreements as Chief of Police, or you've never?
No, I didn't sign because we only had 2 tenders, and then obviously we have the service animals one. But the security one, remember the security tender was withdrawn and re-advertised, and then this was the land in basin one. So I haven't signed the security level agreement because that one, as you know, the only one that we are starting now since APSS came back to Metropolis is this one that we are currently busy with. The other one we were also busy with, however, but that one, as I said, was not approved and we had to restart.
So should I understand your explanation to be, since you became Chief of Police in 2023?
2023, yes.
Yes. You've never had to sign any agreements in that, whatever agreement, as head of police? of
Not that
GMPD? You've never had
not
to.
that can come to mind now, Commissioner Baloyi.
Okay.
There's
So you
nothing
could-
is coming to mind now.
Okay, so you can't speak about a process?
No,
that
no, no,
This is
I
how
can't.
it works normally?
Like Commissioner Khumalo has now alluded, and then say, here is the document, or these were the successful service providers, and then afterwards, nothing of that comes to mind, Commissioner Baloyi.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioners. And that's the point that becomes problematic, Commissioner, which is that, which then makes one wonder about how do you then fulfill your obligations to manage the department? So if you are none the wiser about the agreements involving millions, how do you effectively manage the department, the police department? You see that someone could have that worry about yourself.
I do not agree with that statement. As I said, the processes after Metropolis's involvement stops. It is solely in the Department of Supply Chain Management. Unless we're going to, maybe through this commission, then change where there's gaps. If it is not the case that your involvement is there for drawing up SLAs and assisting with the SLAs, and you get a meeting request to be there, and you get the involvement where you must actually, here's the successful bidder, so you can have a question and answer before the service level agreement comes to your table. It cannot be said if you are not being said you must be involved, or that you are not involved, that you have failed. I do not agree with that statement. I think from this commission, we can maybe say that is a gap, and let us make sure in future municipalities, you do it the other way around, so that we can't sit with this. But I cannot sit here and agree with something that it said that I should have known if that part, they don't even involve you. If it's a part where group legal services and group financial services, if that is their role, and we see it as a gap because of why we're sitting here, we should then say, let us then, and it will also be my recommendation, let us then say, until here, yes, we don't want interference from the subject experts. However, once that process is done, and it becomes that way, the subject experts should also then have a type of also checklist and maybe move forward. So I will rather say, let us do that, because I cannot sit here and then it said, if my involvement is not there, that I should have. So I do not accept that comment, and I will rather say, moving forward, let us make sure that before this is even drawn up, that the involvement of the department that is going to make use of that goods and services should be also there. So I will prefer that we're moving forward, that will be then part of the recommendations.
Correct. Thanks. Commissioners, just for completeness, it's the appointment to Commissioner Spies to be in acting position is found at 435 of the same file. So, in essence, had you not been, I think Commissioner Khumalo was raising that point, had you not been on leave, you were going to sign these agreements.
What I normally do, I do not let people just come and drop things at my office. I can promise you that. Okay. If I don't have time to read through it, I will not sign it. Because what I picked up, people will know you are on your way out on meetings, because they are in contact with your secretaries and say, is the chief available? And then if you want to go out by the door, they want to come with the documents. I've picked that up and I refuse to sign. Even if you say to me it's the last day, they'd like to come and say, this is the last day. Then I said, you should have planned better. Your lack of planning is not my emergency. I would rather read through it, and I always send documents back if I'm not sure, or somebody must come sit with me. I want to ask my questions, because I know once your signature is there, you cannot say that I was running out of the door and this person came to me and said, you must sign. So I can tell you I would have gone through the document, and if there was questions, then obviously I would, if there's no attachments that I want to see, and how did you come to that point, I would have asked those questions. I'm not saying that Deputy Commissioner Spies hasn't done it, but I'm just saying. But I would have gone through the document.
And subsequently,
Sorry, just for the record, you referred us to page 435, Mrs. Kakane. I just want to place it on record that looking at the letter of appointment there, the acting stint was for 2 days. Am I correct? 15 and 16 January 2026.
No, it is on this letter, but there's another acting letter from, I think, the 19th of December until the 14th, and then there was this 2 days that was extended. We
So
can
is
provide
that-
that. We can provide that letter as
So
well.
the 2 days I'm seeing here
This is just additional.
is additional?
Yes.
Oh, thank you,
Thank you, Chairperson.
thank you.
and obviously, do you know, just out of curiosity, why was there a rush to sign this agreement, especially when you are not at the office?
No, I wouldn't know that. It can be a coincidence, or it can
Coincidence.
be because, but I don't want to speculate.
Yes, yes, yes. And subsequently, have you familiarized yourself and are happy with the agreements?
Yes, I read through it.
And you're happy with them?
I read through the agreement, and the Deputy Commissioner, when he did his handover, he was, at the time when it was, when he went through it, he was happy with it. So, as I said, that he handed over to me, and then he did explain to me, and then obviously he had to tell me what he has signed, what he has done in my absence, so that I can be aware of it.
I'm asking a different question, whether you are happy with them, having gone through them or gotten a briefing from Commissioner Spies.
I was satisfied that he has signed and he has checked it, because it came from legal services as well.
Mrs. Kakane, I wanted to ask you, not Commissioner Faro, a question. You said the SLAs all look the same, so we don't have to go through all of them. My question is, the entities that were appointed, do they mirror the list that Sergeant Nkosi was exchanging with Dlamini and Mnisi?
Commissioner, not entirely, but the three entities, that would be El Shaddai, Ngapesheya, and later on Kubisa, are there.
They are all there.
Correct.
Because he had them, he said, my preferred in the order of
At
preference.
some point, correct.
And then he listed them.
Correct. So the point that I concentrate is just a sample being the three entities. And Commissioner Faro, just to follow up on what Commissioner Kumalo is raising, with hindsight, and obviously knowing the apparent, let me not call it interference, but the apparent interference, you would note, it would raise a red flag that obviously these entities, with hindsight of course, some of them are the ones that were shared with Sergeant Nkosi. Correct.
As you know that this WhatsApp is coming to our attention now.
Correct. This
Unfortunately, I was not in that WhatsApp group. So it's come to the attention now. We must remember there's a supply chain management process where people must comply with certain, and there's a checklist. So I think, as I said again, how they came to that companies and did they comply, and the evidence if they comply, those things will be with the Chief Financial Officer. So if he comes to this commissioner, I think it is better if you maybe drill into that and maybe question him in that regard. Because at the end of the day, the documents and the checks and balances and make sure that all the companies comply is part of his portfolio. So after they've done the checks and balances, obviously they feel that the service level agreement must be drawn up because these companies has met the requirements. So if there is maybe in hindsight, through the WhatsApps that came to our attention, mine yesterday and to this morning, there is names there, then obviously that question must be posed to the CFO, who is the person that is part of his portfolio.
And certainly, I think they are. What I was just raising as a question was whether to you it would raise a red flag that you've got someone external that gives the CFO.
Definitely, definitely, I
That's
agree.
just my
No,
question
definitely, I agree with you. As I also yesterday strongly alluded to it, that this is unacceptable. He's not even working for the city of Tshwane. He's not even in the supply chain management environment of the city of Tshwane. He is a South African Police Service sergeant. It is very, very worrying that he could give guidance or he could actually preferred companies is unacceptable.
Can I just ask on this? We know from your evidence, but also from media reports that we can take note of, that there's been suspensions of the CFO. We know that Dlamini, Deputy Commissioner Dlamini, is also on suspension. You've also testified to consequence management processes. Now, the evidence through Sergeant Nkosi, and some of which you've covered with Mr. Skakane, is you've got those three companies. We're talking about this land tender, right? So you've got those, you say, I think he says El Shaddai, Ngapesheya, and later Gubis become, they get awarded these tenders. Now, we know from Sergeant Nkosi's evidence that Ngapesheya belongs to his brother, according to him. It's a company that belongs to his brother. We also know from that evidence that Commissioner Dlamini, Deputy Commissioner Dlamini, seems to have been involved in advising about the Ngapesheya tender, where he didn't comply, advising this is how you fix it, we need this and that to be fixed. That's the evidence that has been presented to us. I give you that as the background to my question. My question is, together with these suspensions that have been publicized, is there an investigation presently within the city and or TMPD that's looking at whether these tenders were properly awarded, as in, for example, did Ngapesheya meet the requirements for appointment? Does El Shaddai meet the requirements for appointment? Are there those kind of investigations happening, or people have just been suspended and we'll see how it plays out?
Obviously, by my side, Commissioner Below, yes. In terms of the city, I'm sure the city is busy with that investigation as well. Under the GAR group audit and risk, they are busy with it. But by my side, like I said yesterday, we are busy with all that investigations in terms of TMPD.
Maybe let me limit you to just TMPD then. So what you're doing in TMPD, you're not just doing the normal disciplinary processes where Piri has been suspended and he will go through a disciplinary hearing. Are you investigating the tenders themselves?
Yes, I do. I am busy. Because the information that obviously that I got through my being a witness, I've got enough information, and then also as the evidence leader has alluded to,